So today we're going to be talking all about hang time. That's one of my favorite attributes in a scent. A lot of people are laser focused on projection or longevity or a mixture of the two. And while I do like a scent that will last a long time, and sometimes for certain instances projection could be nice, one of my favorite things is when a scent will stay in the air. It will kind of suspend itself into the air, and even after you've left the room, people are still going to be smelling it. I think that's very powerful and something that's pretty cool. And so that's what we're going to be doing today. 10 fragrances that people will be able to smell even after you've left the room, and for that matter, even after you've left the building and you're not even within a mile's radius anymore. People are still going to be smelling you. That's pretty awesome. So I will provide links to these down below to discounters. Also, make sure you get subscribed, posting deals on my community tab every day, multiple times a day, doing cash giveaways every month going forward now as well. Someone just won $500, a lucky subscriber. So make sure you get subscribed so you don't miss out on cool stuff like that. We're going to start it off with Armani Code Profumo. So this one here is kind of known as the root beer scent, and it kind of has a coloration to go along with that. It's got a bunch of tonka bean and leather, and it smells beautiful. Really big fan of this one. Going to be a little bit more juvenile, if you wanted to describe it that way. It's nothing that's mature or classy or down to business or anything like that. But one thing that this one does do, given that it's a parfum concentration, is that it will really leave a nice, strong, heavy scent trail that'll last in the air for a good amount of time. And really quick, I'll just say this as well. This is only 10. I could have come up with many more, but I didn't want to make the video too long, so maybe I'll do a part 2 to this in the future. This is just kind of what I narrowed it down to in this particular instance here, and just kind of the mood I was in. So yeah, Armani Code Profumo, you probably have it, you probably smelled it, so it's nothing that's going to be new, but it really does the job well for people who haven't gotten this one yet. Next up, one you should always be on the lookout for if you don't have it yet, Guerlain L'Homme Ideal Eau de Parfum. Cherry, almond, and vanilla are a few of the main notes in here, so it's all about that almond accord mixing with the cherry. That gives it this very classy, unique, sophisticated, and high-end smell. So it's quite opposite to Code Profumo. But one thing that it does do very well is leave a great scent trail. It's an eau de parfum concentration right there kind of in the middle, but it does a great job of just really kind of spinning itself up in the air, and it's something that really has a lot of heaviness to it and a lot of richness to where it just does a great job of leaving a nice trail that people will smell for a long time. Sometimes can be a little bit harder to get, at least here in the United States. Although one thing that was cool, and again, if you're subscribed, you would have gotten yours, was 100 milliliter testers came up on FragranceNet for like $56, which is basically half price what they normally go for, and that sold out within an hour or two. A lot of you guys got it, and it sold out quick, so that's why it pays to be subscribed. So just take 1 minute, hit that button, so that way you can be the next one to take advantage of a deal like that. Anytime you have the chance to get this one, you definitely should. Leaves a great scent trail and smells beautiful. Next up, one of my favorite newer releases, YSL Parfum. Again, I love my Parfum or Les Parfums Parfum inspired scents. So again, Les Parfum, I believe it's actually technically an eau de parfum, depending on what the brand is wanting to do. It's kind of what it usually is though. Doesn't really matter too much, but what I do know is that this flanker here is even more refined and even more smooth than the eau de parfum. And the eau de parfum is a projection monster. It also leaves a nice scent trail, but I found between the two that the newer Les Parfum version does a better job of, again, casting that trail and really kind of making its mark in the air, in the scent space for a longer duration of time. So again, overall projection, go for the EDP. If you want to cast more of a scent trail, go for the newer Parfum version. A great scent. It's got sage, amber wood, apple, all of that stuff, lavender. You've smelled this DNA before, I'm sure, but really it's definitely worth owning. Great performance all the way around and a big compliment getter. Next up, I've always had good luck with this one right here. It's Parfums de Marly SEDLEY, one of my favorite fresh ones from the brand. I would say this and Greenly are my two go-tos if I'm wanting a more summer-oriented version from the brand, or I just want something fresh and clean. Even during the winter time, I sometimes find myself picking this one up and spraying it on just because it's clean and refreshing, and it's kind of a motivating scent, you know. Sometimes scents like Leighton or things of the like are kind of cozy and warm smelling, and they kind of just make you want to sit on the couch and cover up with a blanket and just chill. Sometimes you need a little blast of freshness to get you motivated for the day, and that's what this one does, and it works great for that. But what it also does, as you can probably imagine, is it surprisingly enough leaves a great scent trail in the air. Now again, you could probably choose about any Parfums de Marly for this, honestly. Leighton, Carlisle, Harrod, Pegasus, Godolphin, all of those actually leave great trails. They're all great performers. But something a little bit more wearable and versatile like this one might be a better choice for you depending on where you're at in your collection. Really nice fresh one here with a bunch of citrus, ambroxan, musk, some light woods in here, all of that good stuff. Very fresh, very uplifting, and even though it sounds basic, it doesn't smell like any other fresh citrus scent out there, which I think is pretty cool. All right, let's go with the cheapie, Bentley for Men Absolute. So this one here has a bunch of cedar wood, pink pepper, and what else am I missing? Papyrus. So very woody, very smoky, very spicy. But what it also has, and I've talked about this many times, is this actual whiskey rum accord off the top, more whiskey. And it must just be, honestly, the perfumer's alcohol, but it doesn't smell like perfumer's alcohol. It legitimately smells like a whiskey accord, kind of like you get from like Nasamato Baranda. And again, it's only right off the top. It dries down quickly from there into the smoky, dry, spicy, woody accords. But it's always something unique, and it kind of gives it this nice, almost whiskey, warm, sweet opening to the woodiness as well, which I think is pretty cool. This has a surprising amount of depth given the price point. It's about $30. Smells like Gucci Pour Homme 1, which is also a very cedar wood and pink pepper, papyrus heavy scent. Woody, spicy, and dry. Very masculine. Definitely going to be for the guy who wants something more mature, but it leaves a fantastic scent trail. Very good performer all the way around. Up next, we have Stronger With You Intensely. Love this stuff as well. This one here has this very nice gourmand toffee accord. There's tonka bean. There's some other warm, spicy notes in here. Almost like a cinnamon accord, even though I don't think it's officially listed, but you kind of get that to some extent. Really like this DNA a lot. It's one of those guilty pleasure type of scents for me. Also a big fan of Absolutely, but I kind of like to change it up and throw some others in, and Absolutely would do the job as well. That one has a nice rum accord, brings back the chestnut, but this one also really has great performance, and usually it's going to be easier to get on discounters and usually a little bit more affordable as well. But it also still has that great scent trail leaving ability to where really any version for the most part will cast this heavy, dense scent into the air, and people are going to have a hard time getting away from this one. So definitely works great for that. So this was actually my scent of the day, Valentino UOMO, the original here. So it has a bunch of really cool notes that I love a lot, like leather, coffee, and chocolate. So it sounds great. I mean, at least for me, if you like fragrances that are in this category, you know, I love, you know, standalone fragrances of all of those notes there. Chocolate scents, leather scents, coffee scents, love them. But when you get all of that combined into one, then it's really awesome. And so it smells fantastic, very rich, very smooth, leathery, but not too strong of a leather. It's coffee, but not too much of a coffee note. It's chocolatey, but not too gourmand in that direction. It's a great blend. And even though it sounds like it might be kind of more playful, it actually has a nice upscale scent to it as well. So very classy, very easygoing, nice to wear when it's a little bit cooler outside, and it leaves a great scent trail. Alrighty, let's go with something like this, Ralph's Club. So the price has really started to come down on this one on discounters. I believe now you can get testers for the lower to mid $60 range, which is very nice savings. Testers, of course, still come with a cap because it's, you know, a hinged cap mechanism. So that's nice. You're really not missing out on anything. Full presentation is still going to be a bit more expensive, but honestly, testers are kind of the way to go. And that's 100 mils. It's got lavender and sage, kind of similar-ish to something like a YEDP, but still different as well. So it's kind of just their take on a an aromatic men's scent. Basically, it's using that lavender sage combination that's so overwhelmingly popular with a little bit of this kind of amber accord in here. Very wearable, very easygoing, super versatile. Any guy could wear this as long as you like the scent, of course, and it's just very mass pleasing. It starts out as an eau de parfum here, and it leaves a fantastic scent trail. Second to last, a little bit of a cheapie as well, CERRUTI 1881 Signature. This one has leather and cardamom. There's black pepper in here as well. So this actually smells a little bit like Lannoy de L'Homme, but a more masculine and spicy version, and less warm cardamom. What they're using here is a ton of leather, and it's actually an impressive leather accord given the price of this one. You get it immediately, and it gives it more of a masculine feel overall. The original Lannoy de L'Homme, for some, can be a little bit kind of in the middle, kind of unisexual, some people say, so it depends on where you're at there. But this one kind of pushes it to that masculine direction and kind of gives you a little bit of a different take on that DNA to some small extent. Definitely not a clone, but somewhat similar, and I think that's really cool, and it leaves a great scent trail. You would be surprised on how well this one does when you only have to pay like mid $30 for it. And last up, TRUSSARDI Riflesso. Apple, tonka bean, leather, and lavender are some of the main notes in this one. So another one that smells fantastic, rich, silky, and smooth, but with a little bit of a nice apple accord up top, kind of giving it that fruitiness. Big fan of this. Fresh and clean, but sweet. It's that nice DNA where it just hits right in the middle. And because of that, it's going to appeal to a lot of people. Even though it's another affordable one, it's got great performance, leaves a very nice scent trail in the air, and to that, it also has great longevity. If you're wanting something that most people probably aren't going to be wearing, something a little bit different, definitely check this one out. For the price, again, $30, $35, somewhere around in there, you really can't go wrong. It's a nice, easy blind buy if you know what you're looking for. Alrighty guys, that's going to do it for me. 10 fragrances that cast an unbeatable scent trail that people will be able to smell long after you've left the room. I think that's a really cool thing to have in a scent, and so hopefully this will help some of you out. Like I said, there were many more that I could have chosen to put in here. This is just kind of what I was thinking about when doing this video. So maybe I'll do another one in the future and talk about completely different things. Links will be down below. Deals will be on the community tab. That's going to do it for me. Thank you so much for watching. Stay safe, stay healthy. We'll see you tomorrow with another one. Take care.